What if I told you that elite level focus isn't a gift, it's a skill, and you can build it faster than you think? Not with hustle, not with hacks, but with 5 simple moves that will change the way you think, work, and win. Focus is the superpower of the 21st century. In a world addicted to distraction, the ability to lock in and do deep work is what separates the top 1% from the rest. You don't need more hours in the day, you need more clarity in your mind. Today, we're diving into 5 simple but powerful moves to help you build elite level focus starting now. Number 1, design your environment to eliminate distraction. If you want to build elite level focus, don't start with your willpower, start with your surroundings. Because the truth is, we don't rise to the level of our intentions, we fall to the level of our environments. And if your environment is full of friction, interruptions, and digital noise, your ability to focus will always be under attack. Think of it this way. Your environment is either a battlefield or a sanctuary. A battlefield filled with pop-up notifications, phone buzzes, cluttered desks, and noisy backgrounds will drain your energy before you even begin. A sanctuary, on the other hand, protects your attention like it's sacred, and it is. The brain is wired to respond to cues. Every sound, ping, or flash is a signal that pulls you away from deep work. Even if you don't act on it, your brain still registers the interruption, and the cost is greater than you think. Studies show it takes an average of 23 minutes to regain focus after a distraction. Multiply that by the number of distractions in a day, and you're bleeding hours. So the first move toward elite focus is simple but powerful. Eliminate the noise before it reaches you. Start with your digital environment. Turn off non-essential notifications. Better yet, put your phone in another room when doing focused work. Out of sight really is out of mind. Disable alerts on your computer, close unused tabs, and use website blockers if necessary. You're not weak for being tempted, you're just human. But you can be smart about protecting your time and energy. Next, clean your physical workspace. Clutter is a form of distraction. Every item within your visual field competes for mental bandwidth. Clear the desk, remove anything that isn't relevant to the task at hand. Create a visual environment that tells your brain, this is where focus happens. Lighting matters, noise matters, even scent matters. Subtle changes, like working near a window for natural light or using noise-canceling headphones, can dramatically increase your ability to concentrate. Find your ideal zone and replicate it as often as possible. It's also important to communicate your boundaries. Let those around you know when you're doing deep work. A simple sign on the door, a shared calendar block, or a quick message can prevent unnecessary interruption. Your time is valuable, treat it that way, and others will too. Remember, elite performers don't rely on superhuman discipline. They design their environments so that focus becomes the default, not the exception. They remove resistance. They reduce friction. They create space where their best thinking can thrive. You don't need a perfect setup. You just need to make it better than it was yesterday. One small change, one less distraction, one clearer signal to your brain that it's time to lock in. Design beats discipline. And when your environment supports your focus, staying on track stops being a struggle. It becomes second nature. That's how elite focus is built, not through force, but through intelligent design. Number 2, win the first 30 minutes of the day. The way you start your day shapes everything that follows. Those first 30 minutes, they're not just minutes, they're momentum. And if you want elite level focus, you need to win that opening round before the world throws its punches. Here's the brutal truth. If the first thing you do is check your phone, scroll through emails, or dive into social media, you've already handed your focus over to someone else. Your brain gets hijacked. Your attention scatters. You start reacting instead of creating. And from that point on, you're playing catch-up, not leading the charge. But it doesn't have to be that way. High performers understand that the morning is sacred. It's the calm before the chaos. And in that calm, they build clarity. They don't leave it to chance. They start with intention. To win the first 30 minutes, create a routine that serves your focus, not your stress. This doesn't mean waking up at 4 a.m. or diving into a 10-step miracle routine. It means claiming the first few moments of the day for yourself, before the demands, before the distractions, before the noise. Start with stillness. Even 2 minutes of silence, breathwork, or mindfulness can rewire your nervous system. You're not just relaxing, you're activating the part of your brain responsible for focus and decision-making. You're saying, I am in control. Next, anchor your mind. Write down your top priorities for the day. Just 3 things. Not a to-do list, a mile long, not busy work, just the essential moves that will make the biggest impact. This tiny act of clarity cuts through the noise. It tells your brain what matters. And it's far easier to focus when you know exactly what you're aiming for. Then, if you really want to stack the deck in your favor, do your most important task first. Don't wait until your willpower fades. Don't wait until distractions pile up. Start the day by doing deep work for 30 to 60 minutes. No phone, no email, no multitasking. Just you, your mind, and the task that matters most. This is where elite focus is forged. Because here's the thing, small wins early create big wins later. When you take control of your morning, you walk into the day with clarity, confidence, and momentum. You're not reacting, you're directing. You've already done meaningful work before most people have finished their coffee. That's not luck, that's strategy. Your morning is your runway. Treat it like the takeoff for a powerful flight, not just another blur of routine. The first 30 minutes aren't about checking boxes, they're about setting the tone. Protect that time like your future depends on it, because it does. Win your morning, and you'll win enough days, and you'll build a focused, unstoppable life. Number 3, practice single tasking like it's a sport. If you want elite level focus, forget multitasking. It's a myth, a productivity lie we've been sold for years. Your brain isn't designed to juggle multiple complex tasks at once. What it's actually doing is rapidly switching between them, and each switch comes with a hidden tax: lost time, reduced accuracy, and mental fatigue. Think of it like this. Every time you switch tasks, your brain has to drop what it was doing, pick up something new, and then try to rebuild momentum. That cognitive cost adds up fast. It's like trying to sprint while constantly changing directions. You'll wear yourself out without ever hitting full speed. That's why single tasking is your secret weapon. It's not boring, it's not old-fashioned, it's elite. The most successful people, the thinkers, creators, builders, and leaders, aren't doing more, they're doing less, but with more intensity. One task, full focus, zero distractions. Start treating focus like a sport. Create training blocks. Just like an athlete trains in sessions, you train your brain in focused sprints. Block off 25, 45, or 60 minutes for one high-value task. During that time, nothing else exists. No checking messages, no background tabs, no notifications, just total immersion. In the beginning, it's hard. Your brain will itch to jump to something else. That's normal. We've been conditioned by years of overstimulation. But every time you resist the urge to switch and bring your attention back to the task, you're building mental strength. Just like lifting weights, that repetition builds focus. Here's the reward. Single tasking not only increases your productivity, it transforms your experience. You enter a state of flow, where time disappears, distractions fade, and you do your best work effortlessly. It's fulfilling, it's energizing, and it's the fastest path to mastery. To get started, set clear intentions. Ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do right now that matters most? Then commit to it. Shut out everything else. Use a timer if you have to. Create a rule. No switching until the timer rings. You'll be amazed at how much progress you make in short, focused bursts. Also, track your wins. At the end of each day, write down your single task victories. It could be one block of deep work. It could be 3. Whatever it is, celebrate the effort. That positive reinforcement keeps the habit alive. And remember, doing less with more focus will always beat doing more with scattered energy. Single tasking isn't just about productivity, it's about integrity. It's saying, this matters, and I'm going to give it my best. That's how professionals approach their craft. That's how champions train. And that's how you rise above the noise by doing one thing, right now, with everything you've got. Focus is a muscle. Single tasking is your training ground. Get in the arena and sharpen your edge. Number 4, build a pre-game ritual for deep work. High performers don't wait for motivation. They engineer it. They don't stumble into focus. They prepare for it. That's why if you want elite level concentration, you need to create a pre-game ritual. A simple, repeatable routine that signals to your brain, it's time to lock in. Think about professional athletes. Before the game starts, they warm up. They go through the same motions every time. Stretching, drills, mindset preparation. Why? Because repetition builds consistency. The body learns, the mind follows. The same principle works for focus. A pre-game ritual primes your mind for deep work. It shifts you from scattered to centered. It acts as a mental doorway from distraction to discipline. And it doesn't need to be long or complicated. In fact, the best rituals are short, powerful, and personal. Start by identifying what calms and centers you. For some, it's making a cup of coffee or tea. For others, it's a deep breath, a short walk, or 5 minutes of journaling. Some people play the same playlist every time they work, because music becomes an auditory trigger for performance. Others light a candle or tidy their desk. The specifics don't matter as much as the repetition. Ritual builds rhythm. The science backs this. When your brain experiences consistent cues before a focused session, it begins to associate those cues with concentration and productivity. Over time, it takes less effort to enter a state of deep work. Your mind knows what's coming, and it gets into gear faster. The key is consistency. Do it before every focus session, even if it feels unnecessary at first. That's how habits work. They're slow to start, but once they take root, they become your superpower. You'll eventually find that once you begin your ritual, you naturally slide into a sharper mental state. Resistance fades, clarity rises. Here's a simple example of a powerful pre-game ritual. Tidy your workspace for 2 minutes. Write down your top focus task. Set a timer for your deep work session. Put on headphones and play the same instrumental track. Take 3 deep breaths and begin. That's it. 5 minutes or less, and now you're primed to perform. You've stepped into the mindset of intention. You've created a boundary between distraction and discipline, and don't underestimate the emotional side of this. Rituals give you control. In a world full of noise, that control is everything. When you start your work with clarity and purpose, you don't just get more done, you feel more capable, more grounded, more powerful. So ask yourself, what could your ritual look like? How will you begin each session with purpose? Don't wait for focus to arrive. Invite it, prepare for it, own it. Elite focus doesn't begin at the keyboard. It begins before you even start typing. Build the ritual, honor the process, and watch how the quality of your work and your life begins to rise. Number 5, take strategic breaks to recharge your mind. Elite focus isn't about grinding nonstop. It's about knowing when to push and when to pause. If you want to perform at your highest level, you have to stop believing that rest is weakness. In reality, strategic breaks are fuel for sustained excellence. Think of focus like a battery. You start the day with a full charge, but every task, every decision, every distraction drains a little more power. And if you keep pushing without recharging, you don't just slow down, you start making sloppy mistakes. You lose clarity, your creativity. You end up busy but not productive. That's why the most effective people don't just schedule work, they schedule recovery. They build breaks into their day with purpose. Not as an afterthought, not as a luxury, but as a system for staying sharp. One of the best ways to do this is by using structured intervals like the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes of focused work, followed by a 5-minute break. After 4 cycles, take a longer 15 to 30-minute break. This rhythm mirrors how your brain naturally operates, oscillating between periods of deep concentration and recovery. But let's be clear, not all breaks are created equal. A good break restores your energy. It doesn't just waste time. Scrolling your phone or checking email might feel like a break, but it keeps your brain in a reactive, shallow state. You're not disconnecting, you're just switching distractions. Instead, take breaks that refresh you. Step outside and get some sunlight. Move your body, walk, stretch, do a few push-ups, breathe deeply, meditate, or just sit in silence. Even a few minutes of conscious rest can reset your brain, sharpen your thinking, and elevate your focus for the next round. And here's the magic. When you rest with intention, you work with power. Your output improves, your decisions get better, your stress goes down. You become a professional, not just someone trying to push through exhaustion. It's also important to zoom out and think about breaks across your week. That means taking full evenings off, protecting one day where you truly unplug, scheduling downtime before you burn out. Because elite focus isn't just built during the work, it's recovered during the pause. Remember, you're not a machine. You're a human with rhythms, cycles, and limits. And honoring those limits doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. Every elite performer, from athletes to artists to CEOs, knows that rest isn't the opposite of work. It's what makes great work possible. So take the break, step away, come back stronger. That's not laziness, that's strategy. Elite focus isn't about intensity alone, it's about sustainability. The goal isn't to burn out faster, it's to last longer, go deeper, and produce better. Breaks make that possible. Use them well, and your focus won't just survive, it will thrive. Number 6, train focus like you train strength. Focus is not a gift, it's a muscle. And just like any muscle, if you want to build it, you have to train it. You don't get elite level concentration by accident. You get it through repetition, resistance, and intentional effort. Most people treat focus like luck. If the stars align, if the mood is right, if they feel motivated, then maybe, just maybe, they'll concentrate. But the truth is, high performers treat focus like a skill, something you practice, something you build, something you are. Think of your attention span like a gym. Every time you sit down to work and resist the pull of your phone, you're doing a rep. Every time you ignore that urge to check email and instead finish the task at hand, you're adding weight to the bar. Every time you lose focus, but notice it and bring it back, you're growing stronger. That's the mindset shift. Losing focus isn't failure, it's training. The moment you catch yourself drifting and choose to return, you're reinforcing the very muscle that makes you mentally elite. Start small. Don't try to go from scattered to laser sharp in one day.
Begin with short blocks of deep work, 10 minutes, then 20, then 30. Track your progress. Celebrate the effort. Build momentum. Over time, what once felt difficult becomes second nature. You'll be able to lock in for an hour or more without breaking a sweat. But just like strength training, you need to challenge yourself. Once you can focus for 30 minutes without breaking, push it to 40. Test your limits. Sharpen your edge. Greatness lives on the other side of effort. And don't underestimate the power of reflection. At the end of each workday, ask yourself, when did I feel most focused? What broke my concentration? How did I respond? That simple habit will increase your awareness, and awareness is the first step to mastery. You'll also start to notice your patterns. Maybe you're sharpest in the morning. Maybe deep work comes easiest after movement or a short walk. These insights help you build a personal playbook for peak focus. And here's the beauty of it. The more you train your focus, the more it spills into every part of your life. You listen more deeply. You think more clearly. You respond instead of react. You live with presence and power. So treat your focus with the same discipline you bring to the gym. Warm up with your pre-work ritual.